Why?
Why?
Why? Why did this happen? Movie Nights is back, baby! Woo! And we decided to come back strong with one of the best movies ever made, Geppetto from 2000. What? Starring Drew Carey.
We've been planning this one for a while.
This is years in the making.
This DVD is rare.
It is rare. We own the most valuable DVD in existence, actually.
Yeah, it's rare, but like goes for cheap. No one wants it.
We'll pay you to take this, please.
I'm sorry, but this one isn't for sale.
But I want it!
For people who don't recall, in 2000, ABC would do a bunch of these Disney TV movies. One of the most beloved ones would be Cinderella with Brandy. Really popular.
Until Geppetto knocked it off that pedestal.
They decided, after the smash success of that, in 2000, to make Geppetto, which is a retelling of Pinocchio, but from Geppetto's POV. So this movie has quite a history. It was originally going to be theatrical. They had a couple other actors in mind. Do you remember who it was?
It was Steve Martin and Robin Williams.
Yeah, they both turned it down, and they decided that it wasn't going to be theatrical anymore.
Yeah. Once they cast Drew Carey, they're like, this is going straight to video.
Yeah, I don't know, was he the third choice, or was he the 30th choice? What rung was Drew Carey on?
Don't know if there were more choices. That's all the info we got.
Drew Carey was enormously popular for some reason in the 90s with the Drew Carey Show. He had Whose Line Is It Anyway as well that he hosted. So he got cast in this. A magnificent miscasting, I would say. Not a singer, not a dancer, not even really with that much comedic timing, to be honest.
You made a big mistake. This Pinocchio, he's a big disappointment.
I was hoping like Daniel Bernhardt was in the running because they had Paulo Montalban as the prince in the Cinderella.
Oh yeah, but Paulo Montalban has he has Broadway experience.
Yeah, I know.
He could do it. He was better cast in that than Mortal Kombat.
I think Daniel Bernhardt might give more energy than Drew Carey did in this.
That's it.
He could at least use his martial arts to pretend he's dancing too. More than Drew Carey's.
It takes more than magic. Why? Just because.
Drew Carey was an executive producer on this. I guess if you're in a Disney project, that's what you want to do, right? You want to get your hands in the money. Then if this is a smash success, you'll make bank. Yeah, I don't know how he got involved with this. Really, most people remember it from that time as a joke on Whose Line Is It Anyway? Because they constantly dunk on it.
The good news and the bad news. Merry Christmas, Tommy! Look! It's Geppetto on DVD.
Wayne Brady was also in this.
Yeah. As the magician who had no name, except he almost immediately says his name.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. You have arrived just in time to see the great Lizardo escape from his bonds.
They had just a great cast trying to carry this film.
While Drew Carey was failing.
Yeah.
You just...
They had a lot of really talented people. There was Julia Louis-Dreyfus as the Blue Fairy. You got Rene Auberjonois. You got Wayne Brady. You got, who else was there? Brent Spiner.
Yeah.
Don't you know what this means?
Farting everywhere.
Is he dead?
That's what he does in all his villain roles, right?
I mean, he could have thrown a few farts in here. You would know the difference. That's basically the type of role he was going for.
Well, since you have a free afternoon, why don't you come and see my show?
This is stupid.
Yeah, it's similar to Master of Disguise, though. I mean, not quite as stupid, but he's trying to go, like, way up here to balance out Drew Carey being way down here.
Un momento!
Here.
Carey's range of emotions go from, like, slight befuddlement to disinterest, mostly.
Oh, great. More fish.
And Brent Spiner
Disinterest
is
and
like...
annoyance. Like, he hates Pinocchio.
Dad,
What?
can we switch beds again?
Go to sleep, Pinocchio.
Hurry up, Dad! I want to play!
Get back in here. Pinocchio, you're supposed to clean up your toys.
Wow! I slept like a log.
You are a log. Get dressed.
This movie might as well be called Drew Carey Complains for 90 minutes.
I'm tired. I want to sit down.
Pinocchio!
I should have carved myself a chair instead of a kid.
I don't think any lessons were learned either.
As opposed to the Cinderella adaptation, which was based on the Broadway musical, it was a proven success. All of the songs are really good. You got Whitney Houston, you got Brandy, two wonderful singers. This was a musical that was originally meant for Dick Van Dyke, supposedly.
And Julie Andrews.
Yeah, citation needed, but Wikipedia says that this was originally, the songs were written for him and for them as a reunion. Presumably she'd be the Blue Fairy, but that didn't work out. So they ended up doing this, and these songs are just terrible.
Just because it's magic
Oh, beautiful fairy
doesn't mean it's easy.
with the loveliest pair of wings.
Just because it's...
Except Pleasure Island.
Pleasure Island was good because Usher was doing it. So it was pretty catchy. I like Stromboli's song, actually, which is just the Brent Spiner show at that
Oh, yeah.
We go!
Yeah, he just puts on a one-man show for, like, it seems like 30 minutes in this movie.
It's not as long as the Rene Auberjonois
No,
song.
but that's just a song. Like, he's going on in the scene, and then he breaks out into song.
Oh, yeah,
In
it's
the
just
Brent
this-
Spiner scene. He's just like, he's literally, like, taking the scenery and throwing it around. He's just this little bit away from chewing it. He's like, ah! And then he starts singing.
Okay, I want to get back to Stromboli, but real
Okay.
quick, I did want to highlight some terrible lyrics in the songs. You have, like...
Don't make me have to spank you.
the toy song. And there are a lot of like speak singing too, because Drew Carey's singing range not spectacular.
William Shatner.
A rocket, man.
Mr. Tambourine Man! Mr. Tambourine Man!
I want Drew Carey to cover that now.
Yeah. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play something your song. Mr. Tambourine Man!
This Mr. Tambourine Man, he's a big disappointment.
This Pinocchio, he's a big disappointment.
He's a big disappointment. I do like, he sings the song about, okay, so at the beginning of the movie, he's apparently this really popular toy maker. All of these parents and their
Citation
kids.
needed.
Yeah.
I think this is a case of unreliable narrator, because, like, Drew Carey is the one telling us the story at the beginning.
Yeah, this is like Rashomon, and they're telling the story from different POVs. This is the one that really, like, strokes his ego. So Geppetto is this really popular toy maker.
But alas, this is not his story. This is the story of that important but overlooked character, Geppetto.
He's introduced as the whitest Italian man ever.
Buongiorno!
Buongiorno!
Yeah. Just American Italian.
Yeah.
I do not understand. You're Italian. Get out of here with that. This is America.
I'm not sure there was a single Italian in this movie.
Buongiorno!
It was very Pauly Shore in Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Buongiorno, signore!
Are you Senor Lucilda? Senorina!
Mamma mia.
Buongiorno!
Senorita.
Signora!
Senor Geppetto. We needed a T-Bolt in this John Heater horse.
Yeah. Geppetto!
Geppetto.
Pinocchio's turning into a jackass. And he modied his ham.
What really seems to prove the case that Geppetto is lying at the beginning of the story, that, like, everyone's beating down the doors to come and buy all his toys. Later in the movie, he starts saying, like, oh, if I had any money in my bank account. Yeah.
If I had a bank account.
If I had a bank
He
account.
didn't even have a bank account.
Yeah. like apparently saying he has no money. He's like, well, what was going on at the beginning of the movie, you big liar?
Yeah, everyone's rushing in, and all these kids are acting really bratty, and the parents are trying to discipline them. At no point do
mildly,
I think...
not even mean.
Yeah, I don't think they're even being bad parents. They're just saying, like, hey, quit acting like a brat, or I won't get you your toys, or we're gonna leave if you don't stop acting up.
You can eat that later on when your mom says it's okay. Or you can eat it now. Either way.
Mm-hmm.
But he acts like, these parents fucking suck.
Yeah.
They
he
blow,
sings like,
and then he sings
I would
about
be
it.
a better parent than them.
He says he would be the best parent.
When someone like me clearly would be the best.
I guess to be fair to the Geppetto narrative, this is a plot point. He thinks he would do it better than them, and then it turns out he sucks. Because he complains for 90 minutes about his terrible puppet child.
Finally, I can get some sleep. Never mind that now. I'm very disappointed in you, Pinocchio. This Pinocchio, he's a big disappointment.
I feel like that should have got thrown in his face at some point, though, that he said that.
It did. Well,
I don't think enough. I think, like, you said you'd be the best parent, now look what you got.
Yeah,
you got what you wanted.
I guess the point is, he's just like, oh, I'd be a great parent, and then he's like, you fucking suck, Pinocchio, and being a parent's hard, and he doesn't want to do anything that I tell him. Ugh. This is a defective child.
The blue fairy could have thrown that.
This Pinocchio, he's a big disappointment.
It's mostly him complaining that Pinocchio is wrong, and the blue fairy doesn't really throw it in his face enough. I think it's one of the issues I have with this movie.
Well, I guess they're not spelling it out for the dumb audience. You gotta figure it out, Phelan.
Frankly, you are such a stubborn doe. I'm not really holding out much hope.
She calls him a dope, and it's like, well, maybe you need to be less subtle with this guy.
Being a dope. Yeah, it should be noted. They have a duet together, Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Drew Carey, and this took apparently 8 hours to film because neither of them are professional dancers. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, I think, pulls it off pretty well. Drew Carey, it still seems like he's improving, like he didn't know the choreography. He's like,
Not showing off why he's in the WWE Hall of Fame.
That head looking at Drew and, hey, he's offering money! That's a good idea!
I do want to be fair to Drew Carey a little bit. Okay, he's not a singer or a dancer. He is trying. I don't think he was like half-assing it. I think like he was attempting it. It's just not his forte at all.
Yeah.
It's hard to sing and dance. I don't think I would be pulling off the moves even as well as him if I was attempting this.
There's a reason this movie became a running joke on Whose Line.
Yeah, it's really miscast. Like from the very beginning when he's just like, hey, guess what? This movie's not about Pinocchio. Alas, it's about me, Geppetto.
Yeah.
But alas, this is not his story. This is the story of that important but overlooked character, Geppetto.
It's kind of like that. It was like, oh, Pinocchio's off there having some adventure. Meanwhile, what's Geppetto doing? Oh, he's like filing a complaint with the blue fairy.
Put it in your suggestion box.
Blue fairy!
Blue fairy!
Blue fairy!
Every Geppetto, other than him, wanders around yelling, Pinocchio,
Yeah.
Pinocchio, but he changes it up because he's calling Blue Fairy through like half the film.
Yeah.
Blue fairy! Blue fairy! Blue fairy! Blue fairy! Blue fairy! Blue fairy!
Oh, blue fairy!
Blue fairy! Blue fairy!
Oh, blue fairy, wait!
It's great.
Blue Fairy! Blue Fairy! Blue Fairy!
It's like there's one part where he just keeps saying it, then it comes back at the end, he starts doing it again. Blue fairy!
Blue Fairy! Blue Fairy!
Blue fairy!
I do like when he calls the Blue Fairy and Stromboli is trying to steal Pinocchio because they have a contract, and then like Geppetto calls up the Blue Fairy. And then like Stromboli has no context for any of this. He's like,
What in the world?
what in the world? Excuse me? I fought Pistachio Disguisey and it was less confusing than that. I think Brent Spiner should be the villain in like every movie from now on,
Yeah,
actually.
he's great in this.
I am a little confused though. It feels like a bad choice to make it the joke that this puppet man thinks that his puppet's alive and is way too attached to his puppet, treats him kind of like a son, and treat it as a joke when this is Pinocchio.
I think you have something to... All right, I'll handle this.
Ah, this is stupid.
Because Stromboli has this ugly puppet that he seems to fight with but have some affection for. He talks to all his puppets, but he seems to have one that looks like him that is his favorite. But they don't play it like two sides of the same coin, because this really is the same story as Geppetto, but his isn't brought to life. Kind of felt like maybe he should have gotten his brought to life in the end, oh, he's going to go through the same lesson or something.
Yeah, learn, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, Julia Louis-Dreyfus should have brought that to life, and it's just Brent Spiner with rubbery wooden makeup on, like, oh, I'm a real boy. And he's like, oh, I'm such an overactor. Why did I want this?
This is stupid.
I love that when Pinocchio is brought to life, like Geppetto, almost immediate hate for this thing, like instant regret.
Wow, I slept like a log.
You are a log. Get dressed.
I hate you.
You are a log.
He's seconds away from throwing him in the wood chipper.
He doesn't seem to like children very much. For someone who sings about loving children,
You are a log.
he just complains about his horrible child.
Yeah.
And he wants him to be like a toy maker like him. And
Yeah.
son, Geppetto and
he
son.
wants him to be Geppetto Jr. and
Yeah.
just be a
His
little
sequel.
version of him.
He calls him a sequel.
Yeah, literally calls him a sequel.
To my sequel.
Because that's the only sequel this movie's getting.
Finally, you're beginning to see the error of your ways.
If they did a sequel now, Geppetto 2, I would be the first in line to see it. Make
Yeah.
it theatrical.
Disney Plus.
Yeah, Disney Plus Geppetto 2.
They could do it on Disney Plus.
Absolutely. It'd be better than a lot of the stuff they're doing. It'd be better than the Santa Clauses.
It'd be hard to be worse than that.
What'd you think of Wayne Brady in this? Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, it's like Wayne Brady's a bad magician, and he's like, oh, I'm from a family of magicians, and it's like he's teamed up with the Blue Fairy to try and teach Geppetto a lesson.
Did they team up?
Yeah, because she shows up at the end and he goes, how was that?
Oh, I didn't catch that. I must have been.
It was a
phone or
purposeful
something.
lesson. One of the times she tries to be direct with anything.
Yeah, because he's like, Geppetto's like, hey, why are you trying to be like your dad who's a magician? Why don't you do something that you're good at? Because, no offense, you're the worst magician I've ever seen.
Look, Lizardo, I don't know how to tell you this, but you're the worst magician I've ever seen in my life.
This lesson was be an asshole, and then you will learn that some people should not pursue things.
Yeah. Well, the lesson, though, was absolutely not learned. Like, I think Geppetto was closer to adopting Wayne Brady than he was in learning the proper lesson that you shouldn't push your kids to do the same thing you do.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, you're a good toy maker. Maybe you could be my boy.
Yeah. Which, that's a bad phrasing for him to be throwing around there.
Oh, no. They'll never let him live it down on Who's Line.
The lesson's not learned because at the very end, you see the sign at Geppetto's change into Geppetto and Sons. It's like, well, I guess he still forced Pinocchio into the family business.
It seemed like the lesson was really learned.
This is stupid.
This Pinocchio, I think the little boy playing him did fine. Like, he was a decent child actor.
Well enough to do it again in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, he's the same Pinocchio from Kingdom Hearts, so they got a Geppetto connection.
With this, we can get out of here, Father.
Can you imagine if, like, anime boy Sora and then like, Donald and Goofy showed up and Drew Carey Geppetto's there, done, like, the sort of realistic way, like the Pirates level?
Wow, this Keyblade's turned out to be a real disappointment.
Yeah. You can have it, Sora. I hate this thing.
Did you see Lance Bass as Sephiroth?
Sora! I'm Sephiroth!
Ain't Sephiroth the one who's supposed to be the dark part of Cloud's heart?
Show me what you've got.
What was that casting?
What a miscasting that was.
Huge disappointment.
Huge disappointment.
Well, I'm gonna go get swallowed by a whale. I'd show you it, but that's too exciting, so we'll just kind of show you the storyboards of it.
Yeah, they've clearly done some storyboards in this.
Some cost-cutting storyboards.
Whoa, slow down. What's going on?
It was distracting with the makeup on Pinocchio.
It's ugly.
They've gone kind of half wooden, half realistic. It's difficult when you're doing a live action Pinocchio to decide what to do with this because it turns out creepy more often than not.
Mm-hmm.
But they've added these like wooden hinges, like these prosthetics to his elbows and his knees, which bend a lot by their very nature. So you're going to see a lot of very rubbery wood going on alongside his painted face and some dodgy CGI nose work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did a decent job, though. Like, you know, there was a lot of, like, decent child actors, I think, in this. They had to get a lot of them, too, for that opening music number.
And none of them are
The choreography was not as good as Cinderella, but I think at least in that number, you're wrangling a lot of children on a TV budget, so they probably had to take what they could get.
Speaking of wrangling children, Rene Auberjonois is just making them with a machine.
I've got it!
Twin!
It's like they decided there wasn't enough messed up stuff in Pinocchio as it was. They're like, let's add this. He has a child-making machine.
Just as it should be.
He makes the perfect kids. He makes the masterpiece.
The masterpiece children. He sings a music number that goes on for 10 million years, but Rene Auberjonois at least could, like, sing and dance, so it's like, all right, I guess. And, yeah, he's singing about making the perfect children. No explanation as to what happens to these Pinocchio 2.0s and whatever that he makes as an example, but I did really enjoy the ending where Drew Carey just runs away from the music number.
Like, this is never ending. I gotta get out of here.
Geppetto? Signor Geppetto?
That one would have made sense too if you saw like that was another set by the Blue Fairy, but she never interacts with Rene Auberjonois.
No, that just seems to be another fucked up situation that's unaddressed.
So it's just like, that's going on. It's like, what happens to these kids? Because he's just shooting them out of the machine to see if Drew Carey wants any of them, and he's like, I'll pass. It's like, so do they get thrown back in the machine to try and make another one? Like, they're like, oh, we need the matter. Throw them back in, pop out a new kid. He's playing God.
This is stupid.
By the end, like, he realizes Drew Carey's gone.
Signor Geppetto?
He's like, all right, well, set up for the next number for whatever schlub comes along. How many times did they sing this song?
This kind of seems like a machine like Quark would have bought, you know, and Quark! Oh no, they stole my children.
They're buying these children by 4 gold bars of latinum. They're selling faster than NFTs.
What?
I was thinking like at the end Stromboli should have like changed his name to Noonien Soon. Like, oh, that's why he made it.
I will make my own Stromboli Pinocchio.
That's how he played that character.
No, he played it exactly how he should have played Stromboli.
Senior Stromboli! Oh, hi.
I enjoyed all the Star Trek actors in this. They even had Anton Yelchin was in this.
Yeah, he's one of the kids. Yeah, notably, there is no Jiminy Cricket, though they throw in a reference.
Oh, thank God. God, there's no Jiminy Cricket. Can you imagine if they did a live-action Jiminy Cricket in that?
Yeah. It'd just be Drew Carey complaining to him. Like, are you like a termite? Like, this Pinocchio Jiminy Cricket, like, do you think you could get inside him and, like, chew him up or something?
This broken kid. Who would they get in 2000 to play Jiminy Cricket on a green screen?
Diedrich Bader.
Diedrich Bader? What if it was Colin Mockery? Get more of that. Ryan Stiles, one of the Who's Line guys.
Yeah.
Greg Proops.
Look! It's Geppetto on DVD!
I think that'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
But I don't know, the screening in this was real dodgy. Like, some of the perspectives with the Blue Fairy, like, she's, like, floating behind Drew Carey on the road, and, like, it was all off. It was wonky.
Yeah, if you had more of the Who's Line people in there and you kind of turn this into a bit of a farce, like play that goes wrong type thing, I think it could have worked.
It still would have been pretty bad.
It is purposeful, like they call that, like the fact that Geppetto can't do this stuff.
Yeah, if they called him out as a failson.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You are a log.
They have the Pleasure Island sequence. A lot of the Disney animated Pinocchio is sort of happening here, and Geppetto keeps stumbling upon it. And Stromboli is trying to find Pinocchio at Pleasure Island with Usher there and gets in a fight with Usher. And they're like, we don't like you adults here. Only the pedos get to come here. Which is why Geppetto gets to stay.
I do like that Brent Spiner shows up on Pleasure Island yelling like he had a contract with Pinocchio, so they should give him to him. And then like these people on stilts security take him away. But Drew Carey's also there.
Yeah, because he's also a pedo. So
yeah, it's basically like they point at Brent Spiner, and like, get him out of here. He's an adult. Anyway, that Drew Carey, he's blending in with the kids.
Yeah, they think he was
how do you do,
child.
fellow kids?
Yeah, he doesn't turn into a jackass when he goes on the same roller coaster. I'm not sure whether it's only children.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
Because he's equally a jackass in this movie.
Yeah, for some reason they shoved Geppetto on the ride. Well, yeah, it instant.
I think he
turns
jumps on
Pinocchio.
to go after him, and they can't catch him. I think
that
that's
it?
what was going on there.
That's a really dumb plan, You're not going to gain any ground sitting on the ride behind him. Oh, I'm going to catch up to him at any moment here.
High-speed chase. Right up! He turns back into a puppet boy in the middle of the storyboards, and he just explains that when he jumped in the water, he turned back, so problem really solved itself there.
Yeah, it was one of the weakest changebacks from the donkey. Like, usually in the book, if they do it that way, he says the fish ate his donkey skin off, which is a little more gruesome.
What in the world?
Because this was a Disney production, they do include elements that were specific to the Disney animated
like,
version.
I have no strings to hold me down.
Yeah, they do that, but it's weird when they do it, because then you remember this is a Disney production,
Yeah.
and it's like, really though?
Got no strings to hold me down. What?
Yeah.
They do that, they have Figaro the cat, although the cat does very little.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, you can just sit there. I'll pat you. We're not going to train this cat for this.
As dumb as this one is, it does at least do its own thing besides, like, the new live-action Pinocchio.
It was way better than the Tom Hanks one, but
Tom-
not as good as the scene where Pinocchio smells shit.
Yeah, I was going
on
to
the
say,
ground.
that's like their biggest new thing. They added him smelling shit.
What?
This was really a precursor to Maleficent.
Yeah.
Like, what if we did this from their POV?
Yeah.
Except it's
the
like,
biggest villain, Geppetto.
Yeah, Geppetto. Did anyone really care what Geppetto's POV was?
No, Geppetto didn't even care what Geppetto's POV was.
But alas.
But the intro, they really shortened it compared to the Tom Hanks one, which just goes on forever with him mumbling about puppets or whatever.
That was weird as anything. He's like turning into Popeye.
Touch this, touch that. Oh, my madam. I'm just disgustipated.
Another connection with Robin Williams.
Oh, if only Robin Williams had been in this instead of Popeye. Really would have brought some
Make
life
a
to
trade
this.
there.
Yeah.
Drew Carey is Popeye. Oh, this olive oil's a giant disappointment, Bluto.
Took my spinach.
You see here.
This is stupid.
I was gonna ask who Geppetto's for. It's for Drew Carey, basically.
Yeah. For Drew Carey!
Blue Fairy!
You were saying while we were watching this is basically a producer situation, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can make more money with a bad musical than a good one. It's springtime for Geppetto. Stromboli's like, this is problematic.
Yeah, Odo's there. With his master race machine.
Well, is there anything else about Geppetto you would like to talk about, Phelan?
Blue Fairy!
Blue Fairy!
Blue Fairy!
Blue Fairy! Blue Fairy! What were your final thoughts on Geppetto, Phelan?
Drew Carey!
Drew Carey!
Drew Carey!
Drew Carey!
It's amusing because it's so bad.
This is like fond memories because of Whose Line Is It Anyway, really.
Yeah.
It's kind of nostalgic because of that.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus's performance as the Blue Fairy kind of reminded me of Carol Kane and Scrooge. So I was kind of wishing she would like start beating Drew Carey to get the lessons through to him, like Carol Kane does to Bill Murray. Like, oh, love your son, you idiot! Could have had a bit of physical comedy in there, do something like that.
It really is a shame because she was a great choice for the Blue Fairy, and apparently it was like her dream since she was 6 to play the Blue Fairy.
Yeah.
And this is the culmination of her dreams.
Monkey's paw.
This Blue Fairy is a big disappointment.
Yeah, this is a guilty pleasure movie. I can't even say guilty pleasure. I'll tell anyone. I enjoy Geppetto.
It's better than the new live action Pinocchio.
I watched this over 10 times over before I'd watch that one again.
No root beer.
There's no root beer references in this. They actually say the word jackass too. I feel like that's more than they would be doing these days. There's no Pikachu's tears.
No.
Pretty good. I would recommend this. You could probably find it on YouTube because Disney doesn't care about this. But if you can find it, it's not on Disney Plus. It's a crime it's not on Disney Plus.
It should be. Put this on there. It would have been easier than finding this DVD.
I think you'll have a good time watching this movie. It's amusing. So check it out. Geppetto. Bing! Ash, what do you think about Geppetto? Starring your favorite actor, Drew Carey.